Hi! So today is perfect weather for ducks, which is why today's video is about ducks and how we are going to help them with Hen Haven. So as you can see, I've got the gorgeous Levi behind me. He actually doesn't love the rain. That's why he's in a sheltered spot. Due to his bad diet when he was a duckling, he doesn't produce as much oil as he should. And he gets a bit wet. So we need to look into that and try and help him with it. Patsy, on the other hand, is over there exploring. And she loves the rain, don't you, Pats? Hey? You love it. So today, we're going to talk a bit about how we're going to help more ducks like Levi and how we're going to set up a better place for both Levi and Patsy. And to start this, I kind of want to tell you a bit about our experience with ducks since starting the hen rescue in 2010. So back then I was also doing volunteer work for animal liberation and doing investigations and things like that. And here she is. She's coming up here. See her boyfriend? Very good, very good. And we went into these sheds and did investigations, and of course every time we are filming the terrible conditions these ducks are in, we would try and rescue anyone that we could. So what we'd find in these sheds is that these ducks that are bred for meat, they're packed into these sheds, and there would be so many dead. There would be ducks on their back that were unable to get up. There were ducks who, I don't know what had happened, whether someone had walked through the shed and trodden on them, but their necks were messed up. So anyone who was, it's hard because they're all going to die and it's just an awful situation, but anyone who we found who was not going to make it, we would take. And sometimes it was just a matter that they needed water, like they needed circus water to bathe in, and then they were able to stand up again. And other times there was nothing we could do. So we didn't have any resources again because we were in a rented house. So I'd like to share this little video of some ducklings who were having a swim in a little tub in the living room with Billy Bunny and Charlie, our dog who passed away last year, looking after them. Charlie loved ducklings. So what we had to do in those days was really try to get the ducks to a sanctuary ASAP and arrange that with the sanctuary beforehand, so we weren't putting on. So it really limited who we could rescue. And we've just never really been set up for ducks. This is the best we've done with Levi and Patsy, that they can have the garden and they're loving their life. But like with another case we've had was with Buddy. So Buddy was found in a factory farm, and he's one of the ones who I was telling you about who couldn't stand up. So we made a little video about his story, and this is it. Hey buddy, what are you doing? Oh, is that nice sunshine? Oh, lovely. You need to get some water for that. So since that, you'll notice that Buddy was in a coop and he couldn't walk very well at all, and it took a while for him to build up the strength and some physiotherapy. And then we went and we rescued him two friends from a factory farm who also couldn't stand but weren't in quite as bad condition. So we introduced them, and they were in a coop because we had nowhere else for them. It was a really difficult situation. We looked for a home for them as soon as we could. And that's obviously a major thing with the Hen Haven, like giving us the ability to take in animals and give them the care that they need. Now, he did have time out in the garden, supervised, and he soon found a home with a fellow activist friend with those two ducklings as well. So that was really great. And it was a good outcome, but like we would do so many duck rescues if we had somewhere to put them. We've helped with ducks who have fallen from slaughter trucks. We've helped with stray ducks like Levi. Handsome. Oh, he's a handsome. Who just, I think he loves compliments more than anyone in the family. And Patsy was also found stray just a week after Levi. And I thought we'd have to try and find a home for them straight away, but they have fit in quite well. So between them, we actually took in we've taken in quite a few ducks over the years and tried to rehome them as quickly as possible. But this year we also took in a little duck who turned up at someone's house, honestly, just like in their undercover outside area, and wouldn't leave. And this duck is an Australian native wood duck. So there are plenty of them around the area, but this duck, it was very obvious that they had been hand raised and that they just wanted to be around people. So the guy called wires, and they weren't, because of the duck being hand raised, they didn't help immediately. And then he called us because he just wanted the duck to be safe. Beautiful Levi. And so we ended up with this little duck. Well, this duck definitely wanted to be around people, but we named him Pooja because of the attitude, because there's this, the equivalent of Big Brother in India, and it's called Big Boss. And on an old series of that, there was this character called Pooja, and another one of the characters was like, "What is this behaviour, Pooja?" And so Pooja became that character because of his naughty behaviour. Pooja. Pooja. We don't bite. We don't bite in this family. Okay? Okay? You a good boy? What's this? We don't. We don't. Pooja. What is this behaviour? Yeah, Pooja. And so we gave him some time in the house for those couple of nights, and also gave him time in the pond. So he had some swimming time. But we got a bit of a telling off from wires when they eventually did take him, because they said that we shouldn't have posted a picture of him inside because it was undoing their work. But I felt like he was in that in-between time where he was still so used to people, and he was only with us for a couple of days, and I just wanted to make him comfortable. So, I mean, I was really glad I got to meet him, and then he went and was rehabilitated by a water bird carer there. And then, of course, we come to the beautiful Levi and Patsy. Yeah, so when Levi came, as I've told you in another video, his people who found him were lovely and were pretty concerned because he has these wings that these wing feathers that stick out right to the side, called angel wings. It means he can't fly, and it means what this is a sign of is that he was fed a really bad diet as a duckling. So it could have been bread, something like that, and you can see as he walks, his wing feathers stick out to the side. I love his tail waggles. What a gorgeous boy. Yes! Lovely. He really loves Patsy. But he's doing, so he won't ever have normal feathers, but he's doing brilliantly. And when Patsy came, he was just way too amorous and they couldn't be together, so she was in her own area for a while. But then eventually he broke in and I found them, and they were like swimming together, and they, even though it's taken, she still has her time out sometimes so she can have a bit of peace. They just love each other at the moment. They go everywhere together. And if I do put her in, sometimes she'll just break out again. So in a rural property, they would need to be fully predator protected. So I basically want to think of it as a garden and a pond, like a proper pond, rather than the swimming pools we provide, which is completely predator proof over the top. And a bench in there, which will be dedicated to one of our donors, and where we can sit and be with them. And obviously having more ducks as well, so there's a flock. We had a situation about this time last year where we rented land to try and solve our issue without having to buy a permanent property. And I think I mentioned it to you before that when we got there, there was just a huge number of animals that needed saving, as opposed to us just using the land. And there were about 60 ducks, and we set about rehoming them. But the sad thing was we couldn't protect them in the meantime because we didn't have anywhere safe for them. So it was just a matter of finding them good homes as quickly as possible. And that's another problem that the Hen Haven will solve. It will mean that we can offer immediate refuge, safety and food and drink and everything they need, vet care, for these animals. So, and the people weren't providing any predator protection. It was quite a traumatic experience. And it's one of the, like, maybe I'll make another video. A lot of people say just rent another place and make it more suitable for the animals. But you've got to remember, like, over the last 10 years of doing this, we've moved 7 times and we've rented land additional times, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work with landlords involved, and it's not. You can never set up those permanent enclosures that you want. But I think that not only do we need to help more stray ducks like these gorgeous darlings, but we also need to shine a further light on the duck industry, the duck meat industry in Australia, because it's horrific. I mean, these ducks, they live a life of where they're packed into a shed, and their most basic, what they desperately want is to swim. What they desperately want is to wash themselves, feel the water over their beaks and their eyes and their heads and their feathers, and preen themselves with that water, and they can't. All they can do is drink from the little drippers that give them water to drink. They become filthy by the end, by the time that they're off to slaughter, and then it's a horrifying trip to the slaughterhouse, and it hurts and it's terrifying, and they're babies still. You know, they grow very fast. You'll notice in the video of Buddy and his 2 friends, it was only about a week later and he'd really grown. But it's another one of those things that people don't even think about when they buy duck to eat, that we need to shine a light on. So I'm excited. We've had some people choose our perk in Chuffed called the Duck Pond Delight, and that's where they get to kind of sponsor the duck pond, because we're going to have a couple of them, and I'm excited to get to that point. So the beautiful boy, our handsome boy, can have more space. So I hope you've enjoyed meeting some of our duck rescues, and I'd really like to thank you for watching, because we only have about 20 people a day watching the videos. As I said, I'm doing it to kind of keep myself motivated as well, and you're one of them, so I very much appreciate that. Thank you.